This is Duke University.
This year's Distinguished Alumni Award recipient is Adam Silver, who is the class of 1984. Adam was unanimously elected NBA Commissioner on February the 1st, 2014 by the NBA Board of Governors. In 2014, Sports Business Journal ranked Adam #1 on its list of the 50 most influential people in sports business, and Sports Illustrated named him Executive of the Year. He was also named to Fortune's 2015 list of the world's 50 greatest leaders. Prior to becoming commissioner, Adam served as NBA Deputy Commissioner and Chief Operating Officer for 8 years. In that role, he was instrumental to many of the league's signature achievements, including the negotiation of the league's last 3 collective bargaining agreements with the National Basketball Players Association, the development of the WNBA and the NBA Development League, the partnership with Turner Broadcasting to manage the NBA's digital assets, and the creation of NBA China. Before joining the NBA, Adam was a litigation associate at the New York law firm of Kravitz, Swaine & Moore, where he concentrated on media and antitrust cases. He also served as a law clerk to Federal District Court Judge Kimba Wood in New York. And Adam graduated from Duke University and the University of Chicago Law School. In addition to his work as NBA Commissioner, Adam serves on the boards of NBA China, the Lustgarten Pancreatic Cancer Foundation, and New York Roadrunners, and is a member of the University of Chicago Law School Visiting Committee. Now he can add to that distinguished list that he is the recipient of the 2015 Duke Department of Political Science Distinguished Alumni Award. I introduce Adam Silver.
Good afternoon, everyone, and happy Mother's Day to all the mothers. And to Professor Knight, Professor George Vanberg, Professor Pablo Baramendi, distinguished faculty of the Political Science Department, graduates and their parents, thank you very much for inviting me here today. And I'm very grateful and honored to receive the award that was just presented to me. I thought I'd take this opportunity to say a few words about the connection between a degree in political science, which I also have, and the business of sports. Specifically, I want to talk about the power of sports to build cultural and political bridges across disparate nations and people. I'll begin, of course, with the modern Olympic Games, where over 200 countries march and compete under the Olympic flag, including Afghanistan, Cuba, Iran, and Iraq, nations that have been isolated, with people that have been neglected, terrorized, and much worse, all finding pride and strength in sports. As many of you know, especially the political science students here, 44 years ago, sports led to a significant breakthrough in relations between the United States and China. It was referred to at the time as ping pong diplomacy. After 23 years of isolation, in April of 1971, at the invitation of the Chinese government, 9 table tennis players became the first Americans to officially visit Beijing since 1949. The warmth generated by these ping pong matches led directly to then President Richard Nixon meeting with Chairman Mao in China a few months later, and ultimately to the reopening of diplomatic relations between China and the United States. Today, the NBA continues this tradition of sending athletic ambassadors around the world. We call it, no surprise, basketball diplomacy. Basketball diplomacy has three pillars: sharing the values of the game with other nations, inviting international teams and players to the United States, and developing young players around the world through a program called Basketball Without Borders. 8 years after the U.S. table tennis group visited China in 1979, the Washington Bullets, now referred to as the Wizards, played the first game abroad in NBA, and it was in Beijing. Fast forward to today, by the end of this year, we will have played 154 international games in 20 countries, including 22 games in Greater China. Our current rosters include over 100 players born outside the United States, and our games are televised in 215 countries and in 49 separate languages. Basketball has even managed to penetrate one of the most inaccessible nations on the earth, North Korea. North Korea's young president, Kim Jong-un, is known to be a huge basketball fan, especially of the Chicago Bulls. He's such a big fan that he reportedly offered Michael Jordan over $1 million to come watch a game with him. Michael turned him down, but many as you probably saw, Dennis Rodman came for far less money. You may have heard about his trip to Pyongyang last year. It was televised on Vice Media on HBO. What you probably didn't hear is prior to Rodman's visit, the NBA was considering sending a basketball delegation to North Korea as part of a people-to-people exchange sponsored by the U.S. State Department. That trip never happened because of the negative publicity around Dennis Rodman's trip. But through these same people-to-people exchanges conducted by our State Department, in 2008, the NBA hosted the Iranian Olympic team at our summer league in Salt Lake City. And then the next year, the Iranians reciprocated by inviting a group of players from our development league to Tehran. We've also invited young players from around the world to participate in camps we conduct in Asia, Europe, Africa, and Latin America. Since 2001, our Basketball Without Borders program has sent hundreds of NBA and WNBA players to 23 cities in 23 countries to train more than 2,300 international basketball players. Through this program, not only do young players improve their game, but they improve their lives through health and wellness programs and educational initiatives. Just 2 weeks ago, Hall of Famer Dikembe Mutombo and two-time MVP Steve Nash led a group of NBA and WNBA players on a trip to Cuba. They refurbished 3 basketball courts and hosted youth basketball clinics at 2 locations in Havana. This trip focused on encouraging healthy, active lifestyles and teaching the values of the game to young Cubans. We also began several years ago what's become an annual tradition, and that is the UN ambassador and a delegation of UN representatives all attend a New York Knicks game together. Last month, UN Ambassador Samantha Power accompanied 15 delegates from Africa to a game at Madison Square Garden. Shortly thereafter, we announced that this summer, the NBA will become the first U.S. professional sports league to host a game and conduct a game on Africa. And on August 1st, we'll be playing a game in Johannesburg, South Africa. Each of you, thank you very much. Each of you graduating today will have the opportunity to use the skills and passion unique to political science students to impact your government, your economy, and your culture. In fact, most nations, other than the United States, consider their top sports official to be a cabinet-level position. From Europe to Asia to Africa, Minister of Sport is a prestigious and highly respected title, signifying the highest-ranking sports official in those countries. If you choose to act through sports, you will have the opportunity to share values like teamwork, integrity, respect, and tolerance with the entire world. Here at home, there are numerous opportunities, from nonprofits to local rec centers to high schools and colleges, and of course the NBA, where I use my Duke political science degree every day. As Duke graduates, you will have many, many options, and I hope you will consider applying yourself to building a stronger, more tolerant, more deeply connected world through sports. Thank you very much for this honor today, and good luck to all of the graduates.
So we want to congratulate the following students who are graduating with distinction. Safa El Saidi. Amanda Colson Drasner. Sophia Duran. Maxime Fisher-Zernin. Jandrea Gutani. William Giles. Lauren Hansen. Julia Janko. Alexander Klassen. Sophia Stahl. And Jacob Zions. Congratulations to all of them. Now we're going to distribute the Departmental Awards. Okay, the first award is the Alona E. Evans Prize in International Law, and the recipients are Emma Campbell Moan, Andrew Craigie, Theodore Leonhardt, Anand Raghuraman, and Jason Singh. All right. The next is the Elizabeth G. Verville Award, which goes to Jacob Zion. The next is the Robert S. Rankin Award in American National, State, and Local Governments. Goes to Alex Gersovitz. The next is the Robert S. Rankin American Government Award for Leadership and Academic Achievement. Ray Lee. Elizabeth Shack. And Jacob Zions. Jacob, we should have just brought them to you. I think that would have been easier. The next one is the Robert S. Rankin Award in American Government and Constitutional Law to William Giles. And finally, the Ole R. Holste Award in American Foreign Policy and International Relations to Julia Janko. Let's congratulate all of our winners. Now, we've got to get all of you lined up over along this side. You have to put yourselves in alphabetical order. It's the last requirement before we give you the degree. While they're lining up, I need to apologize to Darren Howland, who graduates with distinction, and for some reason I skipped her name. So let's give Darren a round of applause. You know, they told me to speed it up, so I thought I would skip a name here or there as a way of doing it. My son Benjamin is here. He is 11, and as he did last year, he's taking count of how many mistakes I make. Parents will appreciate that. And so he just shot me the number 2 already, or did you count the Darren Howland thing? Or you counted that one? So only 2 so far. I'm ahead of last year. Okay, as I call out the names, the diplomas will be given by George Vanberg, who has been serving this semester as the Director of Undergraduate Studies. Okay. Are you ready over there? Okay. Safa El Saidi. Bridget Louise Alanis. Marcus Abrahamian. Mert Arkin. Dustin Ashley. Brittany Balzer. Natalie Berger. Okay. Stephen Bowles. William Bryant. Jeffrey Campbell. Reza Chowdhury. Robert Colton. Alexandra Cox. David Dame Boyle. Stephen Davidson. Jeffrey Day. Breno Masil. Victor Del Porto. Nika Duan. Eugenie Dubin. Sophia Duran. Carly Field. Liliana Fiorenti. Maxime Fisher-Zerny. Andrew Franklin. Jandrea Gutani. Alex Gersovitz. William Giles. Carson Ginn. Miranda Goodwin Rabb. Matthew Grossman. Lauren Hansen. Mia Hopper. Jabria Howington. Not to skip her this time. Darren Howland. Julia Janko. Rosalind Kadashi. Ryan Kelly. Kurt Kessler. Carl Kingma. Alexander Klassen. Bryce Knutson. Casa Corley. Andrew Craigie. Nicole Krantz. Rainey Lancaster. Timothy LaRoe. Benedict Lung. Ray Lee. Luke Martin. Corinne Maurer. Okay. Brian McPartland. Gotcha. Avery Morton. Anne Mulholland. Brittany Nenin. Are you getting wet over there? You're getting wet over there? Lawrence Nima. Brandon Nesfield. Nicholas Palodichuk. Sayari Patel. An Pham. Anand Ruguraman. João Remedios. Marquise Cunningham Robinson. Sarah Rogers. Nicole Romero. Anthony Russo. Corinne Santoro. Emily Sands. Elizabeth Shack. Samuel Schloss. John Scott Jones. Sakin Sharma. Sophia Stahl. Megan Steinkirchner. Connor Stevens. Daniel Stublin. Josephine Ubin. Chad Vincente. Imeric Pierre Vincenti. Shida Yi. Luya Yu. Anna Zayas. And Jacob Zions. Okay. That's it. And the rain is maybe going to let up again. We'll give you the opportunity to have lunch now and join in conversation. I want to thank people that are primarily responsible for this. Susan Emery. There's Susan. Okay. Suzanne Pierce. Who, despite George's title, is really the Director of Undergraduate Studies. And Valet Nidifer. Where's Valet? Okay, I think that about does it. Congratulations to all the students of the class of 2015. Stay in touch with us.